Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are continuing our journey in Unreal today to try and build a rotator, rotating movement component. I've been doing some experiments and some reading offline, and I think I have a little bit of a better idea of what's going on, but I'm still not quite sure why we're rotating to world 000 instead of taking the input, or rotating to the world target of our input value rather than the local target. So we're going to be using the debug tools, kind of step through and figure that sort of thing out. The first thing I want to do is kind of look at what a quaternion looks like. I can't convert a quaternion to a string though, so I will have to look at that manually in the build log. For those of you who are here for the chess and you do want to play a game, feel free to drop something in the chat and I can play one or two games tonight if you want. Okay. So I've got debug all set up. So I'm going to drop a breakpoint here and here. And basically the idea is that every time the program hits these breakpoints, it will stop and I can step through the program. I can view what's actually, I don't want to drop it here. I probably want to drop it closer. Well, no, here's fine. I can stop and step through the program and I can view what I can view what all the values are at this position. Okay, rebuild complete. Let's go ahead and close this. Yeah, this one. Something's stuck. There we go. Maybe. There we go. Just taking its sweet time. Why is my run grade out? I don't know why I wouldn't be able to run that. Unless just being slow still. Really slow. It looks like it is being really slow right now. Let's go ahead and stop it and relaunch it. Yeah, I think I have a few too many tabs open here, so give me just one moment to close some stuff. That's better. And we can go ahead and relaunch. While we're waiting to load, let's talk a little bit about quaternions. So quaternions is what we're using for handling rotation. It's what everybody uses for handling rotation. Anybody that has any sense at all. Because they're essentially, um, well, they do a lot more than just rotation. They can do rotation and skew, and I think also translation as well. But um, they're basically they're very similar to an axis angle system, where you have an axis that you're rotating around and an amount that you rotate around that axis. But they can be converted into matrices. But they can be converted into matrices that that allow for rapid multiplication together. Um, and they tend to just work if you do multiplications and subtractions with quaternions. That's actually something that makes sense. Doing multiplications and subtractions with axis angles doesn't really make a ton of sense. Um, the uh, the angle has a different way it wants to be multiplied and subtracted compared to the vectors, and so that all gets messed up. So this is the quaternion representation of a rotator. Um, and as you can see, it's directly related to the axes, but with a little bit of trig thrown in there to try and normalize everything, basically. So when we're doing quaternion rotations, we don't need to worry about matrices. Unreal handles all that for us. We don't need to worry about conversion. Unreal's going to handle that for us as well. What we do want to think about is how we're rotating, how we're actually doing the rotation. So basically, rotations on a quaternion are going to be multiplying by the inverse of the quaternion and then the quaternion itself. Note that multiplication on a quaternion is not cumulative. Cumulative? Basically, the order matters with rotations on multiplications on a quaternion. We've got so this and this result in different things. They result in basically the inverse of each other. So some interesting things to note. All rotation quaternions are going to be unit quaternions. So the what that basically means is that it's multiplying a quaternion or a rotation quaternion by a size value to change the amount of rotation doesn't make sense. Which is what we've been doing. Okay, I am getting this stupid error again. And I don't know why. I rebuilt yesterday, launched it, everything was working fine. And as you saw, we had some problems, so I had to close it and reopen it, and now it's crashing again. And I do not want to take hours to rebuild the engine. So I'm going to see if there's a way to relink or something without rebuilding. Just going to start by looking through my build and linking options here. What did it call it? Minutes. I wish. If it was minutes, I'd rebuild it. Okay, what are we looking at here? Nope, that jumped. The wrong screen. Okay. Nope. I don't know if this is going to help us or not, but we can try installing the linker here. Oh. Okay, looks like it's running. Okay. This all looks fine. Let's see what else we're looking at. Doesn't look right. I know how to rebuild from source manually. I'm trying to figure out how to rebuild less. This does not look like our issue. I am not finding our issue here at all. That's horrible. Writer link plugin was installed. Let's go ahead and build the project real quick here. Wait. I might have an idea. I've been clicking this, which is just rebuild project. But do I need to build project with diagnostics? That would make sense. I rebuilt the whole solution with diagnostics. If that works, I'll be quite happy. And we'll just need to figure out how to get rebuild with diagnostics up at the top. is it building? This isn't my project. That's Unreal itself. Oh, it's building the linker. Or the plugin, rather. There we go. Okay, so let's try build solution with diagnostics. It's very funny to me that this is pulling in DLLs. I'm running a Linux system, and DLLs are the Windows binary interface, application binary interface. Linux uses ELF files. They aren't usually labeled. They're usually labeled SO actually. And it's a little different. There's no reason that you couldn't translate one to the other, or you couldn't use one type of file on either thing. It's just a little weird. While we're waiting for this to build, let's look up how to pin that to the top bar. JetBrains writer pin rebuild with diagnostics. To top bar. Shoot, where'd my settings go? Add actions, add action. Build. Not sure what the difference between this and this are. Oh, we have build startup project on that. All right. So we now have that thing right there. Build solution with diagnostics. I don't know if that's the right one, but we're going to find out. So it's looking to me, if I'm reading all of my logging here correctly, that it's going through and finding all of the already built Unreal files and just linking them together. But I could be wrong. I could just be assembling them. If it was just assembling them, we're in for a bad time. suppose in the meantime, what we can do is figure out the descent file formats. So this is the descent to source code. Sorry, descent 1 source code. I've downloaded descent 1, 2, and 3. This is parallax software copyright. So no copying. Well, you can copy it, but you can't. No selling it. And we're going to need this eventually to load the load all the assets from descent. And so if we just go ahead and let's make a new text file and just drop it right here. And what we want to do is kind of right now this has a whole bunch of processing in it, and we want to kind of simplify this down to just what's in it, just the CF reads basically. So this is a mine. This is a mine. Yeah. So struct mine. And this mine has, or I should say, file struct mine. And this mine has a version, which is a type of which is a byte, and there's one of them. I think we'll just go through like this. It has the num vertices, which is an int, and there's one of them. And we want to be very specific, so we want to say int 32, 4 bytes. 8 times 4 is 32. Num segments, which is an int 32 again. And there's one of those. And then we have the vertices, which is a VMS vector. I'm just going to put a question mark there because I don't know what a VMS vector is. And there is num vertices of those, right? So whatever we got into this now goes here. Okay, and then we have trying to decide if I want to split segments out into its own thing or just put it here. I think I'm just going to put it here. Locality of, particularly when doing prototyping, locality of execution is really good. Okay, so now we have, correct that spelling. Now we have segments, and we are going to just go through this one at a time. So we have children, and that is a short. Let me correct myself. That is an int. I want to say 16. And there is come on, what's wrong with you? There we go. 6 of those. See short size. 2 bytes, that's 16. 16 bits. Okay, and then we have verts, which is another int 16. And there are 8 of those. That makes sense. So descent is composed of cubes, so each segment consists of 8 vertices because each segment is a cube. Okay. Okay, we know we have known segments of these. That's important. And we're defining what they are just right here below it. So we'll just put a semicolon there to indicate that definition is in line. Okay, so now, so we've done children verts, now we have special. And this is a byte, and there's one of them. I have no clue what's in special. Mat central, and this is a number. Mat central number, I don't know what this is either. I just know there's a byte, and there's one of them. Value, that's a descriptive. Very descriptive. That is an int 16. And there is one of them. Static light underscore light is going to be an int That's very funky that they're using signed shorts here. This is an unsigned int 16. Did I miss any other unsigns? Yeah. Unsigned byte. Okay, sure. That's very, very odd phrasing. Is ubyte just the... Oh, it's a character. Okay, sure. Byte is more descriptive for what I'm doing. Okay, unsigned int 16. And there is one of them. Huh. Only one light per segment. That's very interesting. And then we have sides in that there are 6 of these. We're going to define them below. And these are just, what are they? Byte, wall, num. And they are bytes, as expected. And there's one of them per side. Sides has a lot more information in it that isn't used. We've got pad, wall number, pad and wall number as well. Oh, I suppose byte wall number is what we're pulling, but it's got a pad as well. I don't know what pad would be for. But it's not red, so it's not part of the file. Okay. Oh, hello. Why do we have two loops doing exactly the same thing? That's very odd. Okay. So we do have more stuff inside. So we've got a tmap number, and it is a short, an int 16, and it has, and there's only one of them, and there's a tmap number 2. It's an int. It's an int 16. Build is complete, so that's nice. Only 30 minutes. Well, less than that, closer to 15, but still, it's quite annoying. And then insides we have UVLs. They're defined here, and there's 4 of them. Okay. And we have U, which is a short. Sorry, which is int 16. One of them. We have V, which is an int 16. One of them. I, which is an int 16. One of them. Oh. If this is important, the if is really important here. If wall exists, then we have more stuff. That's important. And that's the end of our mine structure. And it does look like Unreal is loading after we've built the solution with diagnostics. So that's a weirdness with Linux, apparently. The release, well, I'll have to consult on that one. I got some tutorials on Linux that I followed to get Unreal set up. And he was able, I think, to switch between release and debug builds on the fly, kind of. But I think with my setup, I need to rebuild the engine to switch from release to debug. Which kind of makes sense, but why can't you just save the symbols differently? So I'll have to look into that, or rather consult on that, because I'm not an expert in building things. As in compiling things. Okay, so this looks like the in-game HUD. I've been trying to figure out the file structure for Descent. It's quite confusing. There's a .hog file and .pig file. And that's basically it. Like, this is my Descent install. And there's some stuff around here to configure DOSBox. But Descent itself is this. "27 files, 16 megabytes. That is an incredibly small amount. We got a BAP file that just launches descent r.exe. How does descent.exe launches this one? Now I'm looking at it, I'm pretty sure it's the only exe. Well, there's also view.exe. Level 18 has its own file. So I'm guessing the DEM files are the levels. I don't know what the hog and the pig files would be. Probably, one of them is probably textures. I'm not sure what the other one is. Maybe models? Levels, textures, models? Did I see a DEM something up here? Demo requirements. No demo. No. Doubt it's under miscellaneous. Nope. Nope. Don't know what that is. Don't think so. We got texture map. UI. It's not going to be under UI. Vec material. Before version control, they put all the revisions in the source code here. And it's not minimizing it for me, that's annoying. Oh, this is vector math. Somebody forgot an H. There are hilarious comments throughout this code base. It is wonderful. Once again, not in UI PAL. I don't know what IIF is here. IIF parser. Doesn't look like what we're looking for. This is just a locating memory. Main includes most of our stuff. Automap is not is the map inside the game. BM, I don't recognize this. Oh, bitmaps. So this reads bitmaps from a file. What we can do we can see who's calling this. Probably this one too. Apparently I can only search for one at a time. Unreal is still loading. It is loading though, so just taking its time, taking its time. So the click up here. Are you still searching? You're still searching. Okay. We can continue browsing while that's searching. So we have game save. What's game seg? Game segment. Maybe? Looks like it. Okay. This is where we're kind of saving things that we've loaded from the files, but not the loading of the files that we're looking for. Still not found anything. Game sec, SEQ. Oh, this looks like a profile. Come on. This is ultimately why I don't really like VS Code. Is when you get to large code bases, it chugs really badly. There are ways to speed it up, but it's annoying to work with sometimes. Oh, we're okay. Find it myself. Whoa. This loads everything, doesn't it? Okay. Load level. Yeah. Unreal's acting like it's loading, which is why I can't move my screen right now, because it's on top. Hasn't rendered yet, but it's on top. Okay. Ah, there it is. Okay, it's working on getting this up here. Man, Unreal's such a beast. So much stuff. Takes a long time to load. It says we started playing editor. Here we go. All right. So we can now go ahead and we're stuck here in the code because we put a breakpoint in. We can step through this one by one and kind of take a look at what we have here in the code. So we can step to the next. I didn't click resume, I clicked step over. What just happened? Okay, this is starting to be incredibly frustrating. Okay. Here we go. It's not getting delta time, interestingly enough. Rotation acceleration raw has no value in it. Probably because we haven't put any value into get pending input yet. But that's fine. Max spawn angular speed is a constant float of 0 because analog input modifier is 0. And B, exceeding max angular speed is false. And we just skipped over this if because we don't have any input. And we're about to skip over this if because we don't have any movement yet. Interesting, actually. And then we multiply our rotation acceleration by angular acceleration, but that doesn't make a lot of sense, I don't think. I think we want to multiply our rotation acceleration W or X by our angular acceleration. We'll look into that in a minute. Okay. Next thing we want to look at is delta rotation here. Very interesting. We're rotating, I think what this means is that we're rotating around 0, 0, 0 with a size of, well, we have to do some math. The inverse cosine of theta times 2. Or the arc cosine of our input times 2. So, if we pull up a calculator here, we want to say that our size is going to be the anybody see arc cosine? I don't see arc cosine. Arc cosine of 0.0 6, 4 is 50 times 2. I did plus 2. But it's shooting for about 100 degrees. And I assume that's multiplied by delta time somewhere. Well, that's already multiplied by delta time. It's a fast movement. Clearly, we're doing something wrong here. So, let me step over again. And I want to know what old rotation is as well. Old rotation is almost nothing around the z-axis. Almost nothing. Not quite, but almost. If we go ahead and resume program, what that theoretically should do is play until our next breakpoint. Okay. Perfect. So now we're on the next frame. We've just jumped to the next frame. And we want to kind of step through here because on this frame, if we've done everything correctly, we should now be hitting this code where we weren't before. Because we have some angular velocity, even though that's a mistake. Now that we do have some angular velocity, we should be expecting to... Oh. We have angular velocity and we don't have analog input, right? What's angular velocity here? What's analog input here? It's been optimized out, so we can't be greater than 0. I'm super confused as to why this skipped. Right? We have a size for sure. And yet for some reason this still skipped. We have a size. We're not pressing any keys. That's very confusing. Okay. Let's go ahead and I'm not actually certain. I think I clicked on the wrong thing here. Okay. I've made a mistake. All right. So what we're going to do, so the problem here is I tried to switch back to Unreal Engine. But when trying to switch back to Unreal Engine while you're in a debug mode means that Unreal Engine can't do anything. It can't respond to your input. It can't render anything. It can't do anything. And so I can't stop the execution. So what I need to do is mute all my breakpoints so it's no longer going to be breaking, and resume program. So now we're just running, and then go back to Unreal Engine. If I can figure out where my mouse went. Here we are. And now I can escape. Now I can respond to escape. There we go. And bring me back into the normal thing. Okay. So, based off what we're looking at, I'm pretty sure that we want to scale W in the quaternion and nothing else. We do not care about XYZ. Yes. Okay. So, size squared also doesn't seem to be working like I think it should be working. So let's start by removing all this. And renaming this to rotation acceleration. Rotation acceleration raw. This part is important. We do need to get the desired input. But this desired input is always going to have a size of 1. Do we want rotation acceleration dot W Okay. We want rotation acceleration dot W. Because that's a float. Okay. So get max angular speed times analog input modifier. Great. It's greater than 0. Great. Dot W. Dot W. W. Angular velocity plus rotational velocity times W minus. Okay, so this is all good. Basically, we are changing all of the size floats to angular velocity dot W. And we aren't going to multiply the whole thing by W at the end. Okay, this one I'm not certain of. I think, right? We want to multiply that by our angular velocity size. Oops, dot W. And then once again, this is going to be dot W, because we don't want to change the axis that we're rotating around. We just want to change the size of the rotation. I'm probably totally missing something about so rotation acceleration is a quaternion. Angular acceleration is a float. Delta time is a float. And now we can actually clamp. Equals max angular velocity dot w new max angular speed. And this goes to w as well. And of course we semicolon this off and we can swim. Okay. We are first going to remove these breakpoints. We'll add them back, probably. And then we're going to rebuild this. I'm going to pull this onto a different screen so I can watch it rebuild while we do other things. Let's maybe look up how to make Unreal build faster. Build faster. Okay. But this is not it's not C++ that they're talking about. Suppose I can get a faster chip and a faster SSD. That could be useful. Very useful. What do SSDs cost these days? Let's see here. 1 terabyte is $100. I'd want at least a terabyte. $70 for a SATA. Even a SATA would be fine, honestly. Don't care about write speed and stuff. Did it get all those? No, of course not. All right, we've got 1.3 terabytes used out of 1.9. A lot of that's going to be games. I'll have to look up how much my games take up. Still, probably looking for a greater than 1 terabyte SSD. Where's the sort by here on Amazon? There it is. Okay, Amazon doesn't know what a filter is. Okay. 512. Building with debug symbols takes quite a while longer. Six. Seriously, Amazon, do you not know what a filter is? Okay, 1 terabyte. I actually do recognize Patriot. Don't recognize any of these people. How much is a 2 terabyte here? $100? Maybe. Might go for it. What is this thing doing? I'm getting errors on the build here. I'm not sure. It's not a good sign. And like, not my errors. They're pulling errors from like hordeplatform.ccp. That's an Unreal thing. It's probably not a good sign. Yeah, this is still working. You know what? I think I'm going to end the stream early tonight. And I'll be playing around with different build options throughout the day tomorrow and see if I can't figure out what builds and what doesn't, and why it builds and why it doesn't. So tomorrow we can have fast builds here, and not have any issues with that. I will see you all tomorrow.